to our unapologetic era.
Thanks for joining us again. Even though y'all don't like us, but it's cool. It's cool. I got it. It's all right.
Where I
spend
feel
my
like,
life in hatred.
where I feel like I have to apologize a lot now.
Why? Isn't that the whole point of being unapologetic is because we're tired of apologizing? We're unapologetically doing
I
this.
am so tired of people pleasing.
That's your own brain problem. Our unapologetic here.
I will say this: the more unapologetic I am, the less friends I have. Which
That means they weren't ever really
Right.
friends to begin with.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they weren't meant to be in your circle anyway. And somebody new will come around that's meant to be. But I'm saying that out loud, and I have had the same friends for 20 years, so I don't know what to... No one's came back to my circle.
No, the rule is, and it's true, like the smaller your circle, the better the friends typically are. Like people who have a large circle of friends, they're usually very shallow surface friendships.
Oh, extroverted personalities that just need fulfilling.
But I've always been really I've tried really hard to make sure that I didn't call people friends who weren't friends. I have no problem using the word acquaintance. I'm like, well, they're just really an acquaintance.
Yeah, you know them.
Although sometimes I do feel like it's kind of harsh. Like it's like you're trying to, like when you call someone an acquaintance, are you saying like you don't really like them? No, I just don't know them well enough to call them a friend.
Right.
It's like a thumbs up versus a heart. It's really not rude, but it can be taken rude.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about.
Sorry.
What are you flashing us over there?
Yeah.
Today we are talking about victim or villain.
In what way?
So, okay, so here's the thing. I had something happen to me that kind of sparked this thought for me, and I was like, I was wronged by this person, and I want to be able to speak about it. But when I speak about it, I kind of feel like I'm coming off as playing the victim. So, how do I tell my story without sounding like I'm playing the victim, or as some people see it, like crying wolf, being dramatic? Even if the story's true, they're like, you're just making a big deal out of nothing. So how
Would it be a big deal to them if it happened to them?
Yeah. But it didn't. And this goes back to the people-pleasing thing. I want to be unapologetic and say, like, no, this happened to me, and it was wrong, and I shouldn't have been treated that way, and I want people to know so that that person can't treat other people that way.
But then to be honest with you, then they just label you as a bitch.
And nobody really cares.
No.
I think some of this is childhood trauma for me because I didn't speak up when I was young, and I kept, I didn't feel, I'm just going to say good enough. That's not the right words, but I didn't feel good enough to be heard or important enough. I didn't feel important enough to be heard. So now there's this, I know that I'm worth being heard, but I also know in the back of my mind, nobody really cares.
But now the same circle of friends you're having, they're like, what? She's a different person now. Then you start getting labeled in a way that they're like, did I ever really know that person? Because now they're different.
I am different. And I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago.
Not the same person I was yesterday.
Right. So people who have been in my life that long have seen me transition. And some of it's been ugly.
They choose to transition with you or you don't.
Just like earlier, I told you, I said I'm self-aware, but I was self-aware and did nothing about it. That's actually quite ugly. And I take responsibility for that. But I also go, you know what? That's kind of what I needed at the time.
So what crosses the line of playing a victim then?
You mean versus just speaking up?
Yeah.
That's what we're here to discuss because I'm not really sure what the answer is to that.
Well, shit, I don't know.
You're the one that went to psychology school.
Well, yeah, but...
Well, and I actually do have notes on it, though. Let me pull it up. I do have notes on it because I wanted to take more into thought. So the villain side of this is not necessarily playing the victim makes you a villain. It kind of does. But then there's this other layer of playing the victim, which has nothing to do with me personally. It has to do with our current American culture. And that's that women are specifically being called out for not taking accountability ever.
For their actions?
For their part in things that happen. Their role in stories that play out. Let's say...
And men do often?
I'm not saying they do or they don't.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
just
fine. We're just
saying
talking about women, whatever.
this is I'm telling you this is like an actual like thing. It kind of goes along the same. Wait, hold on. There's an actual phrase for it.
What is
Might
it?
have to Google it. Um, but it goes along with the whole feminist movement. It really does.
But are you
And
playing? I think there's also a difference in, are you playing the victim in your head, or are you publicly playing the victim?
love that. I love that you said that
Because
because
there's a difference.
that's a fear for me because I know in my head I'm not playing the victim. I know in my head I am being accountable. Like I am taking note of every whiny thing that I say. But am I expressing that enough through my actions or what I'm saying that the people that I care about around me know that I'm aware how this sounds?
We grew up in an in-between generation where we were still on the cusp of women are to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like past mothers, our
Children too.
grandmothers, generations. It's not that way anymore. So do we play victim in our head because we are speaking up, have a fear of speaking up because that's how we grew up? You're meant to be seen and not heard.
Yes, I think that's the childhood trauma part. I think that's what I'm saying. Like as a child, and I don't think it was taught in an abusive way. It
No.
just was part of how we were raised, especially in a small Christian school. Also,
Don't even get it.
what?
Nothing small. Like it's just, it was, you had more of experience of what that school was than I did.
Well, I was there from kindergarten through ninth grade.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, I was there for what, 2.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you this and I don't know how you're going to take it.
Uh-oh.
But growing up in the military and experiencing a new school approximately about every 2 years of my life, that school was the least catty that I experienced than any other school. And it was still, not saying it wasn't fucked up, but it was the least like cliquish that I found. Like I felt like everybody was a little more equal than compared to the
had
other.
to be. I mean, some classes only had 10 people in them. Like you had to be like to be an outsider would be just like horrible.
And there may have been outsiders that we didn't like in our circle at that school, but
There were definitely outsiders. I mean, and they were treated terribly. And I'm not saying that I was one of those people. I've always said that I didn't have a good experience, not for the, not, it wasn't for like bullying reasons or anything like that. It was for like spiritual reasons. But I will always say that those people that I grew up with, no matter where we are in life, no matter what's going on, they're family. They're family because it's like a cousin. Like it's, every year you go to Christmas and you see Cousin Ed, and Cousin Ed is nuts. Like he's nuts, but that's your cousin. And like if Cousin Ed called you and he had gotten in a wreck and he's only 2 blocks over and he needs to be pulled out, you're going to go help Cousin Ed.
right.
Anybody that I went to at that school, it's the same thing. Like I'm like, they nuts. I'm nuts too, but they're nuts. But if they called me and they were 2 blocks over and needed their car pulled out, I'd be there in a second.
Oh.
Well, that's not an all. That's not like it's literally just that's what you do for family.
Well, have you ever seen? I recently saw this, the different friend status where you have a friend or you have a dad friend.
No.
I'm a dad friend. I've learned.
What does that mean?
So like you're a golden retriever friend. I'm a friend. So I die at fault friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the friend that like you don't call me to chat or gossip or anything. You call me if you're broken down on the side of the road and you need to fix something. You call me if there's something wrong in the house and you need something taken care of. You call me if
Who's doing that to you?
I'm just saying that's how like I'm just saying like it's not, I'm not the person people call to bring heartache to, I guess you can say.
Ah, I see what you're saying. They come to you for a solution. They don't come to you for advice
Yeah.
or a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But now let me ask you the difference in playing victim. Let's define a little bit more here. Is it okay to play victim on a one-on-one scenario with the person you're playing victim with? Does that make sense? Or you're going TikTok, Instagram, Facebook route and you're blasting and playing a victim that way?
Oh, that's two totally different like situations.
Which is that okay to do? Is that okay to blow up someone that's being blindsided?
I think if it's okay, first of all, I'm not a tit for tat person, but let's say this
Does that
wasn't
mean revenge? Does that mean you're not for revenge?
right. I'm saying like I don't. It's not like I don't. You didn't do me wrong, and I don't feel that I need to do you wrong because you did me wrong. Like I'm not that type of person. But I am talking in those terms. If that person started the fight on social media, we gonna finish the fight on social media. But if they started it in private and it was private and you can privately address it, it should be privately addressed. If you can't privately address it because they are blocking you from being able to privately address it,
So did they turn into the villain then?
I think both are wrong at that point because that's most petty you could possibly be, right? I did something petty today. I mean, it happens, and sometimes it just feels good to do it. Uh, but that is actually like the victim versus the villain thing. Like, just because I did something petty, does that now mean that it null and voids the weight of what actually was done wrong to me? Because now I've acted like an idiot.
Such a good point. Because
But if I stay quiet, nothing's ever gonna like nobody's coming to my rescue. Like nobody's coming and going, "Are you okay? Tell me what happened. Tell me your story." So it's my choice to tell the story. But now I'm telling the story and it's like she's a fucking bitch. Or she's crazy or she's delusional or she's playing the victim.
But if people believe the whole story, then they would be the victim. I mean, like if it happened to them, they would see themselves as a victim also. Like it's not. We're not talking
True.
about
That's
little.
very true. Very true.
So I always, no matter what scenario I'm in, try to flip it and put, like I guess, lack of a better term, put myself in their shoe. Like if I did that to them, if they did that to me, how I feel, or vice versa. You know, like I try to think of. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to flip it and understand.
Do you
their
think there's a
perspective.
double standard? Because we play with double standards all the time. Do you think there's a double standard in this situation, men versus women, that if a man says the same thing, if man is wronged the same way, and he tells his story, and he gets empathy, but a woman's going to be called dramatic? Is that double standard actually there, or is that a made up double standard?
I think there's a double standard all around. That's like if you are a single parent and if you're a single dad, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I'm so like you stood up and you're taking charge and doing everything you can for them. But as a single mother, you don't get the same recognition. You're like, what did you do wrong that made you lead to being a single mother?
Ooh.
So there's a lot of shit of double standards all around.
Y'all, I saw this video of he's a very popular morning show guy, and if I could remember his name off the top of my head I would say it, but I don't remember. But a girl calls in and she says her to be honest, I still am not sure what her point was, and I'm still not sure if she was wrong or she was right, but my problem wasn't with her or her question. My problem was with him. She says, how come nobody ever talks about men not paying their child support? All right, so that's her question. He immediately jumps in and he says, why did you have kids with a shitty person?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
And look, his point is not invalid, but he's not taking in, first of all, you're being an ass. The way he said it was being an ass. So right there off the top, like the way you present something is everything. Because if he had presented it as, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and let's ask ourselves, how did I get in this situation?
You don't go into it knowing they're a shitty person.
Right. So she's like, I was young and I was dumb. And he goes, yeah, you were dumb. So just know you were dumb. And now these are the consequences that you have to deal with because you had a child with somebody who was a child themselves and was never going to take responsibility. Right. Okay. You're feeling exactly the same way I felt. You're feeling.
I just want to hug her at this point. Like, fuck.
I did, like I said, I'm still not sure what she really thought she was going to get out of it, and I'm not sure if she was right or she was wrong because she
just wasn't portraying what she was asking correctly.
He didn't give a shit what her question was. He wanted to only get his point across, which his point was, your picker sucks. So you put yourself in this situation. So suck it up.
Now, my question is, whoever the fuck this man is, what is his relationship status? And how many divorces has he had? And how off is his picker?
But before we go that way, is she victim or villain? Because he made her a villain.
But that's what women are portrayed as. The villain.
And I'm not, I am, like I said, she never really got to get through her first initial question. So I'm not sure where she was going with that. But I will say this, I was young and I was dumb too.
We
And
all have done, yeah.
but
Can say
young,
that out
but
loud.
young and dumb wasn't I was sleeping around and got knocked up. I fell in love with somebody who did pretend to provide and protect for me. He did pretend to provide and protect for my children too. At what point was I supposed to know I was dumb? Until it slapped me in the face. But yet, I would be told the same. I'm told all the time on social media, you're divorced twice. You're not, I mean, like, you must be the problem. Excuse me, I would not be divorced.
That's like those people that say when you tell your story and they're just like, why didn't you leave? They're like, why were you, like, why would you stupidly stay?
I did it to you a couple episodes ago, and I went, why are these people not calling the police? And you were like, because I have not been in a physically abusive relationship. Mine has been mental, verbal, and emotional. So I never feared for my life in that sense.
Right.
I feared for other things. But, so yeah, I mean, like, I was called out on it.
There's enablers too, though.
Oh.
And these significant others, like when I left this person after abuse, I'm not, because if I say too much, it's going to be very obvious. But they called me, not the significant other, someone in their circle, and told me, well, if you would have been a better wife, he wouldn't have been drinking and using drugs.
Oh, my ex-mother-in-law, when I called her sobbing, crying to tell her that her son had, on our 10-year anniversary, decided to say he hated me, she said exactly that verbatim. Well, baby, if you had been she's like, I've watched you over the years. If you'd have been more attentive, he wouldn't have done what he's done.
That's the enabler. They're enabling the behavior and don't recognize you become a villain instead of the victim.
But also let me clarify, even in that moment, I was still what you would call dumb. Because
naive? Maybe not, like,
I mean, dumb and naive can go hand in hand. It depends on what the scenario is. But I called her for comfort and for advice. And because I knew, like, obviously she knows him well, or at least I thought she knew him well, I didn't expect I was the mother of her grandchildren. I expected to be treated like the mother of her grandchildren, not like the enemy. And I was. Anyway, victim or villain. Was I playing the victim then? She probably saw me as a villain. Obviously, she saw me as the villain.
Yeah, you were the villain in that scenario.
Obviously, she saw me as the villain. But I wasn't playing victim either. I was calling for genuine help.
Yeah. But that's the fucking problem, is when you're calling for help and no one is helping. And you're literally saying and screaming on the fucking top of a mountain, I can't do this anymore. I need help. I'm looking for guidance. Obviously, I mean, and it doesn't even happen. You could call anyone close to you, and if they're still not helping. Like, it's just everybody. I don't know if anyone's ever said this to you, but I've literally had someone look at me, and this wasn't that long ago, and said, "You know what, Ashley, you're not always the victim."
That's absolutely been said to me, and it's been said to me by assholes, and it's been said to me by good people too.
Yeah.
And that's why this is actually a really important subject for me, because we talked about being genuine a couple episodes ago. And that kind of plays into, like, being authentic and being genuine. That kind of plays into this too. I am at a point in my life where I am unapologetic about who I am and who I'm becoming, and I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm gonna tell my story. But I also don't want to come across as playing victim. And that's something that I don't know if I'm portraying the right image or not in that sense.
I think encircling yourself with the right people. I mean, that's valid. But it's you should be able to go to your person and say, "Look, this really hurt me. Like, this legitimately, I'm hurt by this." and not them look at you and be like, why are you always playing the victim? So accountability has to come with your significant other too. They have to hold themselves accountable too.
See, this is so strange for me because in my significant relationships, um, the one that caused the most trauma for me, there just wasn't a lot of conflict until it exploded. There was some, but not enough for me to be able to sit here and like pick it apart and go, did I go to them and they say I was playing victim? Everything was so secretive. But then in my other relationship, I did go to them and say XYZ, and they were like, you're playing victim. And at that point, I knew enough. I was,
That you weren't the victim. They're just not taking accountability for
I knew
themselves
enough that
and their actions.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never took it on as being truth. I just took it as another reason why I should not be in this relationship.
Gotta recognize those red flags. And they may
Yeah.
not seem like red flags, but they gonna be some red flag. Like, you gotta open your eyes.
Oh man, poor thing, I don't even like to call him a red flag because I should have been the man in that situation. I should have been the man and I should have ended the relationship and I should have moved on and not.
That's not what we're built to do.
No, we're not. And I wanted so badly to have a man.
Even
And
that man.
and outward, like he was so masculine, like his outward, like what he did for a living and everything was so like protective and provider and masculine. But when it came to our relationship, I literally was his mother, and so as his mother, I should have said this relationship is over. Instead, I married him.
I know you say he's masculine, but I don't know.
You got to remember what I came from.
Or bed knobs and broomsticks. I don't fucking know.
Knobs and broomsticks. Oh wait, hold on. Let me look at. Let me go back here again. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I accidentally. Have you ever done this before? Accidentally
Probably.
held down all my apps and they moved all around.
Oh, my toddler does that constantly on my phone and deletes shit all the time.
Well, I moved everything around, and now I open up my phone and I'm like, where and what am I doing? What's going on?
You don't know how to move it back to fix it.
I do, but I don't know I don't really remember exactly where they were from my muscle memory to like go back to being able to find them all. I did move some of them.
Well, I think too, it's like you got to think about between villain and victim. Are you being genuine and saying you're hurt, or you're trying to come harm to the other person?
That should be an easy answer, because
but it's not to a lot of people.
We should be able to look, because revenge is not like that, doesn't fall under good,
But some people are really vengeful.
and those people need help.
I may be petty, but I'm not vengeful.
If you are vengeful, you're a vengeful person, and you pride yourself in that. That's scary, in my opinion.
But is that like a narcissist?
It's a little narcissistic.
don't.
It goes back to that. We all have narcissistic traits, but not everyone is actually a narcissist.
Yeah.
It's a narcissistic trait. So I mean, like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, but you probably do need to rethink that, because that's not how we handle things in life.
Well,
It's not.
I mean, mentally
Don't you know
once-
you're supposed to just let karma like do what karma does when she does
I
it?
do no longer, let it be said, believe in karma. I have left my life and I've sat back for decades and watched waiting for these people to have karma. And no one's had fucking karma. No one.
I thought I was going to get karma this year, and I didn't.
And that's another thought. It's because shit keeps happening to me. So it was like, am I stupid? And like, I'm getting my karma now for shit I did that I didn't realize was like.
I lived that already with myself. I deserve this. This is what I deserve. Hello, I'm told daily that I am the common denominator. You don't think I don't check that constantly? Like that I am the problem? And at this point, I probably am the problem. Like, I don't know anymore. I know I am trying to be the best version of me possible.
Mm-hmm.
Complete side note, but I did read something today that was so profound in my opinion. And I know I just said that, but it was a pastor, and he was talking about marriage, and he was saying the question was, if a man talks disrespectfully or harshly to a woman, can a woman return that and it not be wrong? The question was, can a woman talk like that? And he started from the beginning. And he said, first of all, a man
Like,
should not be talking harshly or disrespectfully to his wife. And then he references in the Bible where it says not to do that. And then he says, and if he chooses to do that, then that means that he is choosing to walk alone and not walk with God. And God will turn his back and say, all right, you're on your own. And now that man is trying to figure out how to be a man by himself and lead the wife. And he's on his own. And I was like, do you know how many men how many men probably struggle with that?
well, we come from man. Like
Yeah.
in the Bible, we come
Yeah.
from man. Like we are
That was
extension of
part of the
him.
pastor's
Yeah.
point. And he's like, this is not to be, not to be disrespectful, but women are the weaker of the species because we are made from the man. So a man is supposed to protect us, which is why you don't speak harshly or disrespectful to them. And that was part. I wish I had put it in the notes because I didn't think it would come up with today while we were talking. But he actually referenced like in the Bible where it says that to be that God will not turn his back like you're going to go to hell, but like turn his head like I'm not going to answer your prayers and help you out because you're not helping yourself out.
You're not listening.
Right, exactly.
And you know it's straight. I growing up in the Mormon religion and I don't know if this was for you guys too, but it's God first, your spouse second, your children third, and your livelihood and career comes fourth. And then if you follow God, your relationship will follow in that path.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're following those paths together, your children see that and they will follow in that path. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's different for other religions.
That works, and that is true. It also works the opposite too, where if you're doing all the wrong things, everything will trickle down.
Oh, fucking hell it does.
You end up having generational curses.
Curses? Oh my God.
Well, because
I gotta break
cycles.
cycles.
Yeah, no, they follow. You have a pattern now. Like now, your children are following your way, like the way that you've done things, and their children will pick up things. And that I know generational curse is a strong word, but that's exactly what it ends up being. Now you've passed down a whole generation or two of bad traits.
So we're all villains now?
I think we all can be. To answer our question about victim versus villain, what I'm trying to seek and figure out is how I can tell my story without coming across as playing the victim and being like, no, this is something I've overcome and I'm better for it. The villain aspect of it is take accountability, look inwards, be self-aware, and then make sure your actions aren't foggy.
Foggy?
Your actions aren't foggy.
Like unclear?
Remember how Ashley was like, we talked about self-aware and you were like, I don't apologize, but I do things. And I was like, are the actions clear?
No. But am I avoiding accountability for my actions by not just coming forth and apologizing and having emotional maturity to do so?
Okay, I don't think you're internally avoiding accountability because you're recognizing what you did wrong. You got a pride issue, which I do that too. I have pride issues also. But you have a pride issue and you don't want to show vulnerability, Black Cat, in saying, look, I realize I fucked up, and truly mean I realize I fucked up and apologize. Like you can give a sarcastic apology.
Yes, I mean,
that's why you do little things as actions to say I'm sorry, and you don't just do one blatant thing. 'Cause you're like, he'll figure it out.
But he won't.
No, because he's a dude, and they don't read between the lines. So he's just like, she's a bitch, and I don't know why she did all those things.
When you go to apologize and hold accountability for yourself, I can't stand when people are like, I'm sorry, but. Like,
oh, yeah.
There's no I'm sorry, but.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but you did this. No. You're either genuinely sorry. There's no bringing the other person into, well, you did this, and this, but I'm sorry for what I did. Like.
I'm very aware of that. So now if I do apologize and say, but, I'm doing it on purpose. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm literally saying these words because you're forcing me to, but I don't mean it. Yeah. I'm very aware now that that's not a real apology.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Well, obviously, like a real apology is somebody who not only says it, but changes their actions. That's a real apology.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with just the words.
And that's one thing is like you could have someone telling you're sorry a million times, but if they keep repeating the same pattern, there's no genuine awareness, self-awareness
And
of
I tell you what, I don't know. I can't say that. Like, I'm not sure about us as women. I'm not sure what the rule is, but with
there's a
men,
rule. We got a lot
when
of
I say it,
rules.
you'll understand what I'm saying. Like, a man's word being true and honest is so like I'm gonna say attractive, but I don't mean it in a romantic sense. But it's so attractive, like that. And I don't know what a woman we could compare as a woman that could be the same like heightened.
You lost me.
When a man can give you his word and it
And
is
uphold it.
yes consistently, that is attractive.
It
I
is.
don't know what a woman could do similar that could be fairly compared.
I think it's equal. Same thing. Giving your word and holding
Yes,
your
being an
actions
honest
when
person in general,
yeah,
yes, but
genuineness.
I guess there's some authority to a man doing it versus a woman.
But what if you have a man that is verbalizing it in a just words and action, but there's no emotional mental backing of it? Like they're giving your word, they're following through,
It's
they're
empty words and it's
committing.
empty actions. Is that what you're asking? Like,
No, because I mean, someone can be present, they can be involved, they can do what you were asking of them and do those things, but they're not present in an emotional or a mental way.
yeah, it's empty.
It's just an emptiness. Yeah.
They're just going through the motions. It's like a checklist.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
But that's it. That's
It's
what
like
it
my list at
is.
work or something.
That's what it is. And I mean, I would say in a marriage, you're gonna have times where things are like that, and I think that's normal, as long as it doesn't stay that way.
So accountability is what it really comes down to.
Look, today we are all about being self-aware. Accountability, because if you're self-aware, then you can take. If you're not self-aware, you can't. You don't even know to take accountability for anything. And how do you think? I have always been told this that I don't take criticism well. That I'm very defensive, and that's a horrible trait to have. I'm not really sure why I do that or why I've done it. And I've always been caught off guard when I've been called out on it. Like, no, I didn't. And then there I am again being defensive.
Here's the difference because I don't handle criticism well, but it's in my head now. And now I'm self aware to change my own actions, but I don't like being called out on those actions. Like, does that make sense? Like, you're calling me out, you're criticizing me, but it's
No, it
probably
makes sense. I'm
something.
thinking about myself.
Yeah, it's probably something that's already in my head that I'm very self aware of. I just am choosing not to correct it.
Okay, so that goes back to that time in life whenever I was like, I know that's messed up, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Like I was aware,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to change. And that was and look, I can tell you right now, it was because at that time and space in my life, I just didn't have, I didn't have,
Yes.
I didn't have the capacity. Like I was full. My cup was empty. Like I
Oh,
had
you couldn't pour into anything else.
Yeah, I had nothing else to
Yeah.
give, and it was like, look, I get it, and I'm not gonna on purpose intentionally like try to hurt somebody or do something along those lines. But I also just need to stay alive. So this is what I'm gonna do right now.
Sink or swim.
I,
No, I know exactly what you're saying though. That totally makes sense. Do I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I think what it just comes. Well, you're not going to go blast anybody as a victim, but I don't know if anybody. Probably going to get in trouble for this, but that's fine. Like if you follow me on TikTok, it's I try to portray it as a victim mentality. I'm not calling anyone out or I'm not just stating blatant facts. Like if someone's
I
doing
think
it,
the way that you make your statements on social is very soft and with class. I really do.
all
Where I'm the opposite. I'm very brash and I'm like screw all of y'all. But I think everything you do is very classy. It's very soft. It's it's a very feminine energy, obviously, which is interesting considering things we've talked about.
right.
But I don't read them and go, who does she think she is or why would like
Or be
or even beaten down. Like you don't even come across as beaten down.
no.
It's
I don't
just
know. Well,
more awakened to reality.
Yes. It's an awakening.
Uh-huh.
It's a good, yeah. So, in the end result, what I
In
mean,
the end result, okay, so there's two parts to this. The original villain side of it was women in general, American women in general, need to be more accountable. I would prefer for women to stop getting up on soapboxes and screaming from the rooftops bullshit, because there are people that have been very badly hurt and are trying to heal and are trying to be self-aware and are trying to tell their stories, and we're not being taken seriously because of the soapbox people. So I would like those villains to stop, please. They stop so that then I can tell my story. And I now have to personally figure out a way to portray my image as not a victim who's just wallowing in my sorrow, but someone who is awakened.
I'm not going to add anything to that. I like that. I'm on that same page.
This is what's going on in my head most of the time.
We not dumb, see? We got some smart things sometimes.
At least 6 minutes in.
Uh,
Okay, we're going to get out of y'all's hair.
all right. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Sorry, nothing fun today.
We had fun. Subscribe, like.
Please subscribe, like, watch the whole episode.
Give us more than 8 minutes.
Yeah. I don't hate men. I love men. I love men way too much. That's how I ended up here.
Bye.
Bye. Peace out.